I need to get this down while everything's still fresh in my head. My hands haven't stopped shaking since yesterday, but my mind has never been this clear. It's like the fog I didn't even know I was living in just lifted all at once, and now I can see everything exactly for what it is. Monday morning started like every other morning for the past 6 years. My wife Danielle kissed me goodbye at the front door, grabbed her keys off the counter, and told me she'd stop at the store on her way home to pick up stuff for dinner. Normal, completely normal. We'd been married 6 years, and honestly, I thought we had a good thing going. We talked about starting a family soon. We had plans. I thought we were solid. She never came home. 7 o'clock rolled around and I called her phone, straight to voicemail, didn't even ring. Called again at 7:30, same thing. Called her office and the receptionist told me Danielle left at 5:30 like she always does. So I started calling people, called her best friend Morgan. She hadn't heard from her. Called her sister Elaine, nothing. Called her parents. Her mom immediately started panicking, talking about calling hospitals and filing reports. Nobody knew where she was. Nobody had heard a single word from her since she left work. I barely slept that night. Tuesday morning I walked into the police station and filed a missing person report. Married woman, no history of this kind of thing, phone completely dead. They took it seriously at first, ran a ping on her phone and traced the last signal to a hotel downtown near the Ridgefield area before it went dark. I asked which hotel and the officer said they'd look into it, but something changed in his face when he pulled something up on his screen. I watched it happen in real time. This look that was half pity and half annoyance. He leaned back in his chair and said, "Sir, sometimes adults just need a little space. Why don't you give it 48 hours before we escalate this any further?" I knew exactly what that meant. They found something, probably checked hotel records and saw she checked herself involuntarily. They weren't going to do a damn thing. Tuesday afternoon, I made a call I never thought I'd have to make. A coworker of mine named Travis went through a nasty divorce 2 years back, and he'd mentioned a private investigator named Carl Whitfield. Licensed, experienced, discreet. I called Carl and laid it all out, everything. He listened without interrupting, and when I finished he said, "I'll start on this right now and have something for you within 24 hours. Then he paused and said, "Most of these cases, and I mean the overwhelming majority, are exactly what you're afraid they are. I'm sorry, man." I didn't sleep Tuesday night either, just sat on the couch staring at my phone waiting for it to ring. Wednesday morning at 8:15 Carl called, found her, she's at the Ridgefield Grand Hotel, room 412, checked in Monday evening under her own name, she's not alone. My stomach hit the floor, I could barely get the words out. Who is she with? Carl's voice was steady, professional, male, I'd estimate early to mid-30s, arrived with her Monday evening, has been with her both nights. They've left the room together twice that I've observed. Dinner Tuesday night at a restaurant on Maple. Breakfast this morning at the cafe in the hotel lobby. You want photographs? I said send me everything. He emailed me 23 photos. I sat at my kitchen table and opened every single one. My wife sitting across from some guy I had never seen in my life at a restaurant, laughing at something he said. My wife holding his hand across the table. My wife kissing him in the hotel parking lot with her arms around his neck. Both of them walking into the hotel room together. The last photo was time-stamped Wednesday at 2:51 in the afternoon. Both of them standing in the lobby with bags, hugging goodbye like it was the end of some romantic weekend getaway. I stared at that photo for a long time. Then I called Carl back. "How fast can you put together a full written report?" He said he'd have it to me by 5. I asked if he could keep following her, and he asked if I wanted him to. I said no. I had everything I needed. By 4:30 I was sitting in a divorce attorney's office. Her name was Linda Chen, sharp, direct, no nonsense. She reviewed the PI report and flipped through the photos one by one without any visible reaction. Then she looked up at me and said, "This is textbook adultery. In this state, that's going to matter significantly in how assets get divided. Tell me about your property situation." I told her, bought the house 2 years before the marriage, titles in my name only, my inheritance money. She nodded. "Any joint bank accounts?" No, Danielle insisted on separate finances when we got married, said it was the modern way to do things. Linda actually smiled at that. "That's going to work heavily in your favor. I can have papers drafted and ready for you by end of business today. You want to move fast on this," I said, "as fast as humanly possible." I got home a little after 6. The divorce papers were already in my email. I printed 2 copies right there at my desk, set them on the kitchen table nice and neat. Then I set the PI report and all 23 photos inside a clean manila folder right next to them, sat down and waited. Danielle walked through the front door at 6:47. I heard her keys hit the counter, heard her shoes come off. She walked into the kitchen looking completely normal. Not a care in the world, not guilty, not nervous, not stressed. Just normal Tuesday Danielle, except it was Wednesday and she'd been gone for 3 days. She opened the fridge and grabbed a bottle of water. "Hey babe, what's for dinner?" I looked at her from the table. "Hey, where have you been?" She took a sip and shrugged. I needed some space. Had to clear my head for 3 days, without a phone call, without a single text. Her face shifted, got this hard defensive look I'd never seen before. "I'm allowed to have time to myself. I'm a grown woman. I don't need to report every move I make to you." "Danielle, I filed a missing person report." She actually rolled her eyes. "Oh my God, that's so dramatic. I'm standing right here, aren't I? Your mother has been calling hospitals." "Then you should have told her I was fine." "I didn't know you were fine. Your phone was off. Nobody knew anything." She slammed the water bottle down on the counter. "Look, I'm not going to stand here and be interrogated. I needed space. I took space. I don't owe you explanations for every single thing I do." And there it was, that exact sentence. "I don't owe you explanations." Something clicked in my chest. Not anger exactly, more like a lock turning, a door closing. I stood up from the table. "You're right," she blinked. Clearly wasn't expecting that. "What?" I said. "You're right. You don't owe me explanations." I picked up the manila folder and the divorce papers and I walked them over to her and I put them in her hands. "But I don't owe you a marriage either." She opened the folder. I stood there and watched her face cycle through every emotion a human being can feel in about 10 seconds flat. Confusion, then recognition, then shock, then full-blown panic. The photo on top was the parking lot kiss, clear as day, both their faces completely visible. She flipped through the rest with shaking hands. "This isn't, wait, Jake, this isn't what it, you had someone following me." I pointed at the folder. "It's all in there. Page 3 is the hotel details. Page 5 is the timeline. Pages 6 through 8 are all 23 photographs." Her whole body was trembling now. "This isn't what it looks like." "Sign the papers, Danielle. I'm filing first thing tomorrow morning." "You can't. We need to talk about this." "You said you don't owe me explanations." I agreed. "Now I'm extending you the same courtesy. Sign the papers." She dropped everything on the counter and came toward me with her hands out. "Baby, please just let me explain. It didn't mean." I stepped back. Don't insult me any more than you already have." 3 days. You spent 3 days with some guy in a hotel room while your own mother thought you were dead. He's not just some guy. We reconnected and I don't care who he is. Sign the papers or don't. Either way, I'm filing in the morning. You should probably find somewhere else to sleep tonight." She looked like I'd hit her. "This is my house too." "No, it's my house. Bought and paid for before I ever met you." "Check the deed. Your name isn't on it." Her face went dark red. "You can't just kick me out." "I'm not kicking you out. I'm suggesting you might be more comfortable somewhere else. But if you want to stay, the guest room's available. We're done." She started crying hard. "Please just listen to me. It was a mistake. I was confused about us, about everything. A 3-day mistake where you checked into a hotel and lied to every single person who loves you. Everyone deserves a second chance. Maybe, but not here. Not for me." I walked upstairs and locked the bedroom door, sat on the edge of the bed and just breathed. I could hear her crying downstairs for about an hour. Then I heard her voice low and muffled on the phone. Then the front door slammed and her car started and pulled away. My phone buzzed around midnight. Text from her number. "Please don't do this. I love you. It was so stupid. I'll do anything." I blocked her number. Sent everything to Linda. Took a sleeping pill and knocked out. Filed the papers Thursday morning. Linda said with the evidence this should be pretty straightforward. Danielle would probably get her personal belongings and maybe a small support settlement since we were married 6 years. But the house stays with me. Retirement stays separate. Almost everything stays on my side, except that's not how things played out. Thursday afternoon, I got hit with a restraining order. Danielle claimed I was threatening and volatile. Said she feared for her safety after I ambushed her with false accusations and quote illegal surveillance. Had to show up in court Friday morning. She was there with a lawyer and her sister Elaine, both of them crying, looking at me like I was some kind of predator. Her lawyer argued that hearing the pie was obsessive stalking behavior and the photos were illegally obtained. My lawyer shut that down fast. Carl Whitfield is fully licensed and bonded. All photos were taken in public spaces and hotel common areas. Nothing illegal about any of it. Then her lawyer claimed I emotionally manipulated her and she felt unsafe in her own home. Linda presented the full timeline. Wife disappears without notice. Husband files missing persons report. Police are unhelpful. Husband hires a licensed professional. Pie documents wife's voluntary 3-day stay at a hotel with another man. Husband files for divorce based on evidence. Judge looked at everything. Looked at Danielle, looked at me. "Ma'am, your husband hired an investigator after you disappeared for 3 days without contact. The photographs show you engaged in what appears to be an extramarital affair. I understand this is uncomfortable, but nothing about his conduct constitutes harassment or stalking." Restraining order denied. Danielle broke down sobbing. Elaine glared at me like she wanted me dead. They walked out without saying a word. Saturday morning at 8 a.m., someone started pounding on my front door. Opened it and there was Danielle's father, Greg. Big guy, loud voice, used to intimidate me early on in the marriage. He pushed right past me into the house. What I want, he said, is for you to stop this nonsense right now. You're embarrassing my daughter over a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding. She spent 3 days in a hotel with another man. She was going through something. Women get emotional sometimes. You should have been there for her instead of sneaking around spying. She told me she didn't owe me explanations, so you're her husband, you deal with it, you work through it by letting her sleep with someone else. He got right in my face. You got proof she actually did anything. You see them in bed or just some pictures of dinner. I pulled up the parking lot photo on my phone and held it in front of his face. He barely glanced at it. That's nothing, a kiss. You're blowing up a marriage over a kiss. A 3-day kiss, Greg. In a hotel, same room, both nights. You don't know what happened in that room. I know enough. Your daughter made her choice. Now I'm making mine. He shifted gears, got soft, almost pleading. Son, she made a mistake. She knows it. She's crushed. Give her another chance. She was thinking about our family while she was checking into hotels. Everybody deserves forgiveness. Sure, somewhere else, not in my house. Then he switched back to angry. You'll regret this. When you're sitting here alone and miserable, you'll wish you'd given a good woman a second chance. I'll remember I divorced a cheater. Get out of my house. He slammed the door so hard a picture fell off the wall in the hallway. Sunday, her mom and Elaine showed up with suitcases. We're here to collect Danielle's things, Elaine announced like she was leading a military operation. Sure, make a list of what belongs to her. I'll have it boxed up by next weekend. We're getting it now. No, you're not. This is my home and you're not walking through it unsupervised, grabbing whatever you want. Her mom started crying. How can you be so heartless? She's your wife. She should have thought about that before the Ridgefield Grand. She told us she ran into an old college boyfriend and they just talked. Nothing happened for 3 days in a hotel room. They were catching up. I laughed out loud. They were catching up in bed. You don't know that. Ma'am, please. Elaine stepped forward. You know what? She told me you were boring anyway. Probably why she needed some excitement. Cool. Hope exciting guy was worth it because it's going to cost her. Elaine's face twisted. You're not keeping everything. She deserves half of the house I bought before I ever met your sister. The house she's not on the title for. Good luck with that. She put work into that home. Picking out curtains isn't equity. Mom jumped in. This is financial abuse. You're trying to leave her with nothing. She'll get what she's legally entitled to, which according to my attorney isn't much, especially given the adultery. We'll see what a judge says. Yes, we will. Next month. Now get off my property before I call the police for trespassing. They left screaming about lawyers and justice and karma. Monday, I changed every lock in the house, installed cameras at the front and back doors. I wasn't taking any chances. Got a text from a number I didn't recognize. You're making a huge mistake. I love you. Please, can we just talk face to face? One conversation, that's all I'm asking. Blocked it. Another number 20 minutes later, it's me. I got a new phone since you blocked me. Please, baby, I messed up. I'll do anything you want. Counseling, therapy, whatever. Just don't throw us away. Blocked it. A third number that same night. Stop being childish. We're married adults. We can work through this if you'd stop being so stubborn. Blocked that one too. My lawyer called Tuesday. They filed a counter petition. Danielle wanted spousal support of $3,000 a month for 5 years, half the home equity, her car which I'd helped buy and stupidly put both names on the title 2 years ago, and half my retirement. Linda laughed. They can ask for whatever they want. They won't get it. But it'll add a few weeks while we respond. You okay with waiting? I said I've got nothing but time. Court day came 3 weeks later. Danielle showed up looking like she was attending a funeral. Black dress, minimal makeup, red swollen eyes, playing the part hard. Her lawyer opened by saying, Your Honor, my client is a devastated woman who made one mistake during a difficult period in her marriage and has been met with complete nuclear retaliation. Her husband hired someone to stalk her. He's trying to leave her destitute. He's weaponized her own family against her. Linda stood up. Objection, Your Honor. None of that is accurate and opposing counsel is aware of that. Judge sustained, said stick to facts, counselor. Danielle's lawyer tried a different angle, said Danielle reconnected with an old friend. They met for coffee, talked about old times. She stayed at the hotel for personal space. Nothing physical occurred. Linda pulled out the photos. Your Honor, these were captured by a licensed investigator operating in public spaces. Photo 12 clearly shows the respondent and her companion in a romantic kiss in the hotel parking lot. Photo 15 shows them entering the same hotel room together at 9:47 p.m. Monday. Photo 18 shows them leaving together at 11:23 a.m. Tuesday. Photo 21 shows them returning at 2:15 p.m. Photo 23 shows them at breakfast Wednesday morning at 7:34 a.m., returning to the room at 8:52. The judge studied each photo carefully. Then he looked at Danielle, then at her lawyer. Counselor, your client stayed in a hotel room with a man who is not her husband for 2 consecutive nights. There is photographic evidence of physical intimacy. What exactly is your argument here? Her lawyer started stumbling. The photos don't definitively prove. They could have been in separate. The judge cut him off. 2 adults voluntarily checking into one hotel room together for multiple nights is not ambiguous, counsel. It is clearly intentional. Move on. Then came the money fight. Danielle's side wanted 50% of the home equity even though I owned it before the marriage. $3,000 a month in support for 5 years. The car, half my retirement. Linda's counter-offer. Danielle gets her personal belongings. She keeps her car but handles the remaining $8,000 in payments herself. $500 a month in spousal support for 2 years to help her transition. That's it. The judge reviewed everything. Premarital home ownership. Separate finances throughout the marriage. Her full-time employment and independent income. The adultery evidence. He ruled house 100% mine. She has 30 days to remove personal belongings. Cars stay with their respective owners. She handles her own payments. All retirement accounts remain separate. Spousal support set at $750 per month for 18 months. Enough to help her get on her feet, but this court is not going to subsidize the aftermath of infidelity. He looked directly at Danielle. Ma'am, you committed adultery and then attempted to characterize your husband's response as abuse. That's not how this works. You're receiving transitional support. I'd suggest you be grateful for it. Danielle was sobbing. Her lawyer looked frustrated but not surprised. Outside the courthouse, her mom was waiting by the parking lot entrance. Started screaming at me about what a monster I am and how I destroyed their family. I got in my car and drove home. That night I got one more text from an unknown number. I hope you're happy. You've ruined my life. I have to move back in with my parents because I can't afford a place on my own. Everyone thinks I'm horrible. You did this to me. I replied one time, the only time I ever responded. You did this to yourself. 3 days at the Ridgefield Grand with someone else. Own it. Then I blocked the number. The divorce was finalized 6 weeks later. Got the official paperwork on a Wednesday afternoon. Almost 3 months to the day from when she walked through that door and told me she didn't owe me explanations. She was right about that. She didn't, and I didn't owe her a marriage. Things were mostly quiet after the ruling. She moved into a small apartment with a roommate about 30 minutes away. I heard through people who used to be mutual friends that she was working and trying to put things back together. Good for her, I guess, but the entitlement wasn't completely dead. Her sister Elaine somehow got my new number and called me 2 weeks after it was finalized. Said Danielle was really struggling, losing weight, crying constantly, could barely function. Said she needed closure, needed one face-to-face conversation with me. I told Elaine she got her closure in court. Elaine said I was holding a grudge over one mistake. I said it was a 3-day mistake in a hotel room. She said I should have been a better husband. I hung up and blocked her. Last week I ran into Danielle at a store completely by accident, turned the corner near the back of the aisle and there she was. We locked eyes. She froze. I nodded and kept walking. She followed me, asked for 5 minutes. Said she wanted to apologize properly. I told her I didn't need it. She said she needed it for herself so she could move on. I stopped and turned around. I said you need to apologize so that you can feel better about what you did. She started to say something and I cut her off. I said I don't care if you move on, Danielle. I don't care if you feel guilty for the rest of your life. You made your choices. You live with them. I've already moved on. Her eyes filled up. She said she still loved me. I said you loved a hotel room with another man more than you loved this marriage. She said it wasn't like that. I said it was exactly like that and I have 23 photos that prove it. She wiped her face and said fine. You want me to say it? Yes, I slept with him. Yes, it was wrong. Yes, I regret it every single day. Are you happy now? I said indifferent actually. She said that's worse than anger. I said I know, but it's the truth. I don't hate you. I don't love you. I don't think about you at all unless something forces me to. She called me cold. I said I'm practical. You taught me that. You said you didn't owe me explanations. You were right. I don't owe you forgiveness. We're even. She just stood there crying while I walked away. Haven't heard from her since. As for me, I'm doing all right. The house feels bigger now, emptier but somehow cleaner. I repainted the bedroom, bought new furniture, donated everything that reminded me of her, made the place mine again. Work has been steady. My boss knows what happened and has been solid about it. No more parking lot appearances, no more phone harassment. Started seeing someone new a few weeks ago. Met her at a bookstore of all places. She knows about the divorce, knows it's fresh, isn't pushing for anything serious. It's easy and it's nice, and that's enough right now. My dad took me to a ball game last weekend. Didn't even mention the divorce once. Just ate hot dogs and complained about the pitching. My mom keeps asking if I'm really okay or just pretending to be. I think I'm actually okay. Took a while to get here, but yeah, I'm okay. The trust issues are real though, not going to pretend they aren't. Every time the new girl doesn't text back for a few hours, there's this little voice in the back of my head. But I'm working on it. Can't let one person who betrayed me ruin every good thing that might come after. What I learned from all this is pretty simple. When someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time. When Danielle said I don't owe you explanations, she was telling me exactly how much she valued our marriage. I just took her at her word. Separate finances turned out to be the smartest thing we ever did, made the divorce clean and fast. And hearing Carl was worth every single penny. Without those photos, she would still be lying, still be gaslighting, still be making me question my own reality. Carl gave me proof, proof gave me leverage, leverage gave me a clean break. She wanted space and no explanations. I gave her permanent space and all the explanations she never wanted. That's good enough for me. If this story meant something to you, you're going to love what's coming next. Click that video right there for another story about someone who chose consequences over silence. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now is the time. I post new stories every week. Hit that bell so you never miss one. I'll see you in the next one.